President Trump vowing to clear out dead wood on day 2 of the shutdown as both sides dig in for the long haul. The White House has been freezing billions in funds for Democratic states, and the president was meeting with his budget chief, Russ Vought, in order to determine which, quote, Democrat agencies will be on the chopping block next. Meanwhile, after claiming Republicans are lying about illegal immigrants getting health care, some Democrats are just flat out admitting it.
The amount of money that actually is going towards people who are undocumented is such a small portion.
We got to make sure Americans have the health care that they need. And if that means we got to shut this government down, so be it.
AOC is taking some heat for the shutdown. Republicans say Chuck Schumer is basically a hostage, terrified of a 2028 primary challenge from the squad's firebrand in chief. But she and Pelosi are just brushing that off.
This is so not about me, because I saw some senators speculating about this, and I saw some Republican members of Congress saying, oh, well, if we have this shutdown, it's because of AOC. Well, if that's the case, my office is open, and you are free to walk in and negotiate with me directly.
So there was a thought from the Republicans that AOC is directing this, and she said that senators are welcome to go to her office directly. Is she?
Why are you saying such a ridiculous thing?
Amid all this shutdown drama, a meme war is being fought in the White House, but has been looping those Hakeem Jeffries sombrero AI pictures in the briefing room. And let's just say the minority leader and CNN, they are not finding this funny at all.
They were playing that mariachi music as well over the loudspeakers for all the press that was coming in and out of the White House today. They simply don't care about that criticism.
I'm actually referring to some of his social media posts, which didn't seem to make a lot of sense.
The sombrero and the mustache?
Correct.
But now Hakeem Jeffries seems to be leaning into the trolling.
This year, they've done nothing. Zero. Stingy with De Niro. Nothing to lower the high cost of living for everyday Americans.
You think that rhyme, Jesse?
I thought it was good. DJ Hakeem's really, really good. Dana, the art of war. Everybody knows that you don't attack your enemy from a position of weakness, and that's what the Democrats are doing. They are a party that's never been weaker, and they have decided to go all in. And they have so much more to lose, all their pet projects, their windmills, their bureaucrats. And the world keeps spinning during the government shutdown, and people are starting to realize, wait a second, maybe we don't need this big, fat, bloated government. Everything seems to be working fine. The messaging war is embarrassing. All they're talking about is sombreros and health care for illegal aliens. And then AOC, she triggers the Schumer shutdown, and then she Bigfoots Hakeem so badly, Nancy has to come in and rescue her. The Obamacare bailout, put aside the illegal alien health care, this is what this is about. They created this program that was supposed to help people with health insurance, and it quadrupled the price of everything. So they're basically holding the government hostage and making Trump fix a problem that they created. Dana, permission to make an analogy.
No.
Granted.
This is like when your wife forces you to buy an expensive car, and then she just wrecks it over and over again, and it's always stuck in the shop. But she wants to go out, right? But she won't take an Uber. She won't be seen in an Uber. She calls you cheap. So you know what you do? You sit on the couch, you say, fine, babe, I'm just going to sit down, order pizza, and watch football. You're the one that needs to go out and shop and get their nails done. This is a war they cannot win. You're playing chicken with the guy that loves sitting down.
Love your analogies.
Thank you.
I will always grant permission. Kellyanne, there's lots of different places you could take this, but from a messaging standpoint, it feels to me that President Trump has a much stronger hand to play, and that the Democrats have a weak hand, but they're overplaying it.
They are. Look, Donald Trump is making trade deals and peace deals and tax deals. He's sitting down with world leaders, and you have Hakeem Jeffries sitting down with his fellow Democrat Jake Tapper talking about sombreros and mustaches. You see who's owning them. President Trump is owning them online, but he's owning them offline, and that's more important here. Dana, President Trump has basically said to the world quite transparently today, there's so much we can do during this shutdown. He's never shut down. He exhausts staffers 1/3 his age. And he's saying, wow, now would be a good time to doge all the stuff we didn't doge, frankly. Now we can examine projects. Hey, folks, it's not like Donald Trump is saying, I'm going to use the power of government to say, raid your home, investigate, insult, impeach, indict you, threaten your kids, ruin your business, say you're going to be put in the big house and never again the White House. He's using the government organs to make sure that we are spending taxpayer dollars on things that align with our values as Americans. Guess what? Second Avenue subway, bridges and tunnels, all these infrastructure projects. Dana, I want them on meritocracy. I want them on safety, not on sex and race, if these contracts were given out for DEI reasons. And we'll see. Russ Vought, who lives for this stuff, I love it, former colleague in the White House, he is saying that we're pausing, we're reviewing, we're examining. That's what President Trump was elected to do. I think that the Democrats, they lack leadership and joy. They lack vision. They lack any kind of response to Trump, but they're missing something else. I was in the Situation Room on January 4th, 2019, when we were on the verge of a government shutdown. The Democrats shut the government down over border funding, and they had to own it for 30-some days. In that meeting, Pelosi commanded the room when it was time for the Democrats to speak. Schumer said absolutely nothing. The same Schumer, 6.5 years later, is terrible at this. I think they just don't have a really good messenger. They don't just have a communications problem. I think this time the Democrats have a fact problem.
Harold, what do you think the Democrats should do next?
So good to be with everybody. Let me level set this for a moment. In the last 48 years, we have not had Congress do its required work, meaning to avoid a moment like this. So they're supposed to pass all the appropriations bills, or 13 of them they're supposed to pass. They've not done that but 4 times in 48 years. The last time they did it, I was a first-term congressman back in 1997. They did it in 77, 89, 95, 97. We sometimes like to keep partisan marks here. There were 3 Democrats, 1 Republican, that being done. 2, I believe in consistency, and I've said all along, when you guys, when we talked about the last shutdown, there have been 6 closures in 30 years, the last 3 decades. I thought it was wrong for Democrats not to pass a clean CR, and I thought the president was wrong then not to ask his party to pass a clean CR, keep government open, and let's figure out the stuff on the border. Because the wall, I was a supporter of building the wall. In this instance here, I wish Democrats would get back. And I understand where the young fellow from Maine, the congressman, the Democrat, who voted in favor of the clean CR. And I think Democrats should tell Republicans this. We're going to have 4 to 5 weeks to figure out what we do on health care. Now, I differ with those you around the table. I think this health care thing is a lot more serious than we think. 50 million Americans, 50, get their health care from the Affordable Care Act. We call it Obamacare. To give you a sense, if you live in Florida, 3.3 million Floridians are on it. The second biggest state is Texas. They're 2.4 million. And the 4th biggest is Georgia with 880,000. My home state of Tennessee has 350,000 people their health insurance comes from Obamacare. What Democrats are upset about is that come mid-November, the premiums are going to go way up.
Why?
Well, premiums because health insurance.
Why?
I'll tell you why. Innovation in health care, inflation.
Okay.
And there are a number of reasons why it's going up for your health care and my health care. Both are going up. So when we passed the big beautiful bill, and prior to that, the tax bill that you guys passed in 2017, when President Trump got elected again for the second time, he said, you have to renew my tax cuts. I actually thought a lot of that was right, because if you raise taxes on a whole number of people, you would disrupt the economy. The same is true with health care. If you raise health premiums on 50 million Americans, not to mention those who are already impacted by the big beautiful bill and those who are impacted by Medicaid, that essentially is a tax increase on those people. So I hope Democrats can get back to the table. I'm a contrarian here with my party, Jesse. I'm saying get back. I'm consistent. Vote for the clean CR and hold their feet to the fire and make it clear you will close the government down again with reason if they don't come and negotiate in good faith to not only deal with the Medicaid issue, but most importantly, to deal with the Affordable Care Act. That's what I would be doing if I was in Congress.
One of the Affordable Care Act problems, and then I'll give it to the floor to you, Greg, is that the rules are such that they have forced out all the healthy people, so then you have a smaller pool of people who are not healthy, and it's just like it's a screwed up market, and we should have an honest conversation about all the problems.
So should we minus those people out of health care then?
I think that we should be honest about like how bad the situation is and how a free market could help. But that was my position back in when Obama did that. What do you think about the Democrats all day yesterday saying it wasn't about health care?
Well, I just want to look. I have some information to respond with. To respond to Harold, where is it?
That's because you have health care and you got the biggest part of the
Yes,
tax
I
cut.
am a rich, white conservative. I love it when Trump says he wants to get rid of dead wood. Immediately, John Kerry went into hiding. But I love that Trump makes shutdowns fun because he makes everything fun with the memes. Poor Hakeem Jeffries, or as some like to call him, the straight Obama. He doesn't know how to react to silly jokes. So he says, I'll just join in. And he's so stilted, it's painful. But they got to understand, only the right can do memes because memes find truth in absurdity, which is why the left and the woke is such a rich target. But you can't do it in reverse. The left are terrible at it because they're the absurdity in the equation. So they can't even see outside themselves. It's easy for us to lampoon them. How do you lampoon us? We don't want men and women's sports. We want a tight border. We want a reduction in crime. Good luck lampooning that. But defunding the cops, we can lampoon that. Dudes in dresses showing off their junk to kids. That's pretty easy, guys. Maybe change your policies and stop worrying about the sombreros, which gets to my bigger point about this issue. It's not about the issue at all. The memes are telling the Democrats and the media, especially who's the lady with the teenage boy voice? Caitlin Connor? Yeah, Collins. We're telling you, we don't care what you think anymore. The accusation of racism doesn't fly because you said it about everything. You said sports were racist, fitness was racist, food was racist, inheritance taxes were racist. So we're taking your only tool and we're turning it into a joke. The sombrero totally just chaps your hide. We laugh. We're not running away from you. We're running at you, and we're laughing all the way. As Scott Adams says, this is a breakout moment. This is breakout mode for the Republican Party. And it's another lesson that we learned from Trump. We learned that Democrats treat tax dollars like musical chairs. Oh, it's not going to illegals, they say. That's true. You don't hand 10 grand right there when they walk in across the border. No, but you slip it into the COVID relief bill. Then you jack it all up and then you try to make it temporary. Or you say we don't pay for illegal health care. Well, the states do. And how are the states able to do it? Because the federal government gives them money to spend on other things so they can spend it there. It's an opportunity costs. Democrats are like the dude with the EBT card that was meant for milk and bread, but they end up buying cigarettes and liquor for their homie.
For their homie.
In your face, Harold.
All I know is when you all did that shutdown in 17, and you predicted
not
a
stopping.
Republican wave of
19.
If
Not
you
stopping.
say clean CR one more time,
I just kind of like play by the rules every once.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.